Sorry for the delay this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, actually, I'm not. I'm not even supposed to be here today. Where's my Clerks fans? Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is what's the name of this show? The Political Spotlight. I was going to say Bilbrey Live. I can't even tell. This perception is reality. It's the bastards. It is the Political Spotlight, and we are here on a Friday evening. Supposed to be off tonight, but because Henry County Sheriff John Sproles is the gift that keeps on giving, or rather, he's the toothache that keeps on hurting, or rather, he's the egotistical nut job that keeps on egotistically nut jobbing, whichever way you want to look at him. Because of that fact, and because I think we're starting to develop a profile here, and I think that I'm starting to maybe even really agree with the quote of the evening, which the quote of the evening is not from one of the team members here. Quote of the evening is from a town board member from a little town called Shirley. Sits right on the borderline between Henry County and Hancock County. And the quote of the night is, "He's a racist son of a bitch." Listen, I'm not saying it. I'm simply relaying, I'm relating to it too. I'm relating to what he said. Sproles resembles that remark. I am relaying the information to you all that we heard. You all heard it right here last night. If you haven't watched that show, please, he's Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That's hilarious. I want to let you guys know right now, all right, first and foremost, so everyone is aware and there is no more question. I've been working tirelessly since last night, trying to get things back to normal, trying to get things built back. Again, keep in mind we had a show on a platform. We're now adding some things back here to the channel so you guys can see them. And for those that want to know, if you go into the playlist that's called East Central Indiana Politics, okay? If you go into East Central Indiana Politics and you go to that playlist and you click down to view the full playlist, we now have released, and what you will find there is the rookie sheriff turns a simple assist motorist into a full-blown investigation. That is the body camera video of the bus incident. I want to let you all know that that is there, and you can now see that, and people can now share that with one another, and you can do what you got to do there. Okay, so I want to let you guys know that's there, and you guys should easily be able to click on that. Also, there in that same playlist, you should be able to go, and you'll also see in that playlist, you will see the rookie sheriff turns simple assist motorist in. Okay, that's there. You will also see what the camera doesn't show. Follow up interview with Mr. Roger Winston. And Roger Winston, ladies and gentlemen, is the man that is the CEO of the bus company. And so that's where you will find all of this Sproles material. Also, in the description of all of these videos, I am linking the description to all of the rest of the videos. So please understand what I'm telling you, that you can click on any one of the videos and in the description find all the rest of them. Okay, so that's there. That's important. So people can start sharing that information. And as we're building it back, I'm going to get all of this Sproles stuff out here for people to know. For my folks in Muncie, for my people in Winchester, for the people in Anderson and elsewhere, I've not forgotten about any of you. I was just talking to Kate about putting together our calendar of candidate interviews. What did I say? Did I say something different? CEO, what did I say? Of the bus company? Maybe I said, I don't know what I said. He's the dance company. Let's go back here and see what you guys are saying. What did I say he was? Bus company. All right. Yeah, sorry. It's the dance company. I meant he was the man that was involved with the bus incident, is what I meant. He's the CEO of the dance company from up in Milwaukee. All right. Sorry about that. And thank you guys for getting me. You knew what I was talking about. I love you guys. Isn't it amazing? Okay. And I spoke with him today on the phone. And I love that guy. Absolutely. I love him. I love him to death. And he's amazing. So we watched what we saw last night. More Sproles sprawling. Oh my God. That is too much. He's continuing to Sproles, ladies and gentlemen. Did you like the name of tonight's episode? It was for all of you Swifties out there, it's Sproles. Hi, he's the problem. It's him. And so I thought that was very fitting, because why that's important is, if you've ever listened to him speak for any length of time whatsoever, he is trying to convince everyone around him that no, this wasn't my fault. I'm certainly not the bad guy here. It's everyone else. I know that I acted like a racist asshole, but it's not my fault. It's because they were videoing me. It's like, wait a minute. I'm confused. Because they were videoing you, you seemed racist? Or maybe you were racist and it was caught on film. I'm confused. Oh, yeah. I'm a big Swiftie from way back in the day. So I want to tell everyone right now is the time that y'all need to be sharing sharing the link to this episode to anyone that you know in Henry County, to the people who live there, to the people obviously that vote there. Obviously, you don't vote there if you don't live there. I hope not. But we need to get this out. And I apologize that I'm coming to you live tonight. I was supposed to not be here, but I talked to Josh and I said, hey, I don't want to overcut him. If he was going to be live and he was going to go on, I didn't want to overcut him. And he said, no, I'm not going that long. And I said, well, we've got some information and I know that Josh is interested in what's going on. So last night, I played to you on the back half of last night's video the phone call that Sproles had made to the town of Shirley Police Department. And in that phone call that we heard, okay, we heard him make reference to a couple formal complaints that he had made. Now, let me tell you, never before have I ever dreaded doing something on a show, but I absolutely dread what's going to happen in the next few minutes. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I have in my hands the emails from John Sproles to the town of Shirley, to their town board, to their police chief, and there are 4 emails. This I'm going to show you this. This is 4 emails. There are pages and pages and pages. This guy has literally spent tax time doing this. Who knows what all was going on here? This is pages and pages and pages of insanity. Look at this one. This is an email, dude. Look at this. Look at this. That's the front page. There's the back page. There's page 3. There's page 4. This is a 4-pager that Sproles sent out at 4:20. He sent it at 4:25 p.m. on Monday, July 3rd. Now, when did he start writing this? Who writes any? This is I write stuff. I write long things. This is way more crazy than a Bilbrey post. And I read this earlier. I went to Shirley today and I picked these up. First of all, I was like, couldn't you have just emailed them to me? What? They literally had to go through emails. They printed them off, and then I had to drive to Shirley to pick them up. I'm like, I don't know about that. Just interesting. But these emails, chat, you're right. These emails, it's not like crazy bad grammar or things. It's just long. And it's like literally he says the exact same thing in every paragraph. This guy was the king of the college essay. Too long, didn't read. Whatever. So let me tell you, okay? So he types like he talks. Absolutely. I pulled over in the Shirley post office to read these to a person on the phone, and I thought I moved there. I thought I moved to Shirley. I was like, holy crap, how long have I been here? So, without further ado, with very little water, we are going to attempt to get through this. And it's not like something that I can just skip through, because you all need to be aware. We all need to hear. Now, I'm going to do something I don't like doing. I'm going to turn this light on. Oh, I hate it. I'm going to try to turn this light up. I just need a little bit of extra light. Your officer wasn't nice. Yes. Diane, that's exactly. Can I break my sobriety and smoke a joint first? Yeah, we won't tell anybody, Joey. No, don't. You better not. I can't be encouraging that. No, it's not. I didn't say that. All right. But no, you can't, but you can sure throw it my way. I might need it. If I smoked a joint, we would be gone. All right. Oh, God. I'm having PTSD. Okay, so this is titled Formal Complaint. And it's from John Sproles to the Shirley Town Council. He sent it to Josh Smith, and I do want to let you know up here, oh, what do we got? What is this name? What is this name here? 4-Day Z's? What?
For days?
Good Lord. Yeah, okay. For days. All right. 4 days. Let me tell you. Yeah, I think the chief deputy needs to get away from the sheriff immediately. He needs to get away from him. Start your breakfast now. I liked Josh Smith. I don't understand how Smith puts up with this. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I know that Josh Smith has to go home. Eric, I love it. I know Josh Smith has to go home and be like, talk to his wife, and he's like, man, you don't know what that son of a did today. I can't believe it. For the love of God, he shot an inmate in a jail cell 4 times. All right. Monday, July 3rd, 2023. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to set the stage here, as I do. June 11th. Okay, June 11th, Sunday, June 11th, is when the bus incident occurred. Sunday, June 11th. Monday, June 12th, is when Roger came back from Milwaukee to pick the bus up and noticed that someone had stole the plate off the bus and did all of that and started to leave, and noticed that there was a line of cops waiting on him, and they pulled over and they inspected it, and then they just got the hell out of Dodge and they made it back to Milwaukee, and so that's when all that was happening. Okay. That was the 11th and the 12th. Well, at that point, nobody knew about this. No one knew. I wasn't talking about it. There was no media coverage. No one else was talking about it. The only people that knew about this was the people on the bus, Officer Humphreys' department and town board, the chief of Shirley Police Department, Sheriff Sproles, and the couple other officers that arrived on the scene down there. That's the only people that knew about this. So there was it wasn't like this was being talked about. It wasn't like it was being discussed. This was right at the beginning of when Sheriff Sproles started all of the madness with the small towns. Now, he had been messaging back and forth with the marshals and the town boards for a couple months before all of this, but this was right before, number one, the meeting that he had with everybody where Joshua Kimbrell and I went and recorded it. That took place on Thursday, July 6th. Thursday, July 6th also happened to be the same day at 11:30 in the morning when he shot the man, Marquette Neal, in the jail cell. So a lot happened to the sheriff on July 6th. However, June 11th was just another day. It was just another incident. Why have police just because of a... Yeah, right. Right. So, we had the incident occur, and without anything else happening, without me making a big deal about it, Sproles was big time mad. He was this mad. This is how mad he was. He was, let me tell you, I think that Sproles is for days. He was for days mad, writing emails. I mean, he was like pissy. You know he's got to be just absolutely crawling out of his skin mad now that we're making such a big deal about this. So, Monday, June 3rd, 2023, 4:25 p.m. Good afternoon. And this is what literally this just sets me off when I hear this. Please accept this writ as a formal complaint against Officer Roger Humphreys and Town Marshal Brian Pryor. What? What? Felicia, I will send you the links to both when we're off here. I'll send you the links to everything, and then you can decide what you've seen and what you haven't. I'll send everything to you. Okay. He says, please accept this writ. Like, he's always so formal. Hey, you're sending an email, you idiot. Nobody talks like this. Sproles thinks he's like in 1885. You're right. You're right, Diane. On Sunday, June 11th, 2023, at approximately noon, Henry County Sheriff John Sproles, was on my way home from church and monitoring my in-car police radio when Henry County Dispatch asked a county unit to check on an abandoned vehicle for ISP, Indiana State Police, on I-70 near State Road 109. I was aware that our county units were all on the east side of the county and that I was closer to that call than they were. I advised Henry County Dispatch that I would go check on the abandoned vehicle. Which, I don't know how I feel about this. I kind of like that when higher ups will jump calls like that, but Sproles does it too much. I think he's taking an advantage of shit. He's trying to do way too much. When I turned southbound onto 109 from County Road 550 South, I passed a Shirley unit northbound on 109, just north of Speedway. My first thought was, and he's setting up the problem right here. My first thought was, it could have been nice if they would have checked on that vehicle for ISP if they were in the area. When I approached the ramp to the westbound I-70, I observed a black, full-sized school bus that appeared to be broken down in the front of Burger King on 109, with the rear driver's side bumper over the fog line in the roadway, causing a traffic and safety hazard for the bus and any occupants. I also observed a large amount of trash scattered all over 109 beside the bus, as though the occupants of the bus were throwing it out the windows. I then contacted our on-duty sergeant over the radio and advised him of the above-mentioned items. And I asked him to start that way with any other units to check on that situation. I advised him that I would come straight back to the bus once I checked for the abandoned vehicle for ISP. I got onto I-70 westbound, and I checked west to the first turnaround and then checked back eastbound to the first turnaround east of 109. I was unable to locate a broke down or abandoned vehicle on I-70 that the Indiana State Police were calling about. So I headed back to the bus on 109. As I was coming to a stop at the top of the off-ramp, I advised my dispatch that I would be back out with the bus. I also advised that there was what appeared to be a Shirley unit on scene with the bus. I also observed that all of the trash had been picked up out of the roadway. Well, what do we say about that? Awesome. They picked up the trash there? That's amazing. All right. So, number one, the first thing I think of when I hear this is, and I don't know, and I'd like to know this, and I think I'm going to ask him. Was his wife and or kids in the car? They were on their way home from church, and he jumped a call. Do they drive to church separately? Was his wife and kids in the car the whole time this incident was going on? That's very interesting. Okay. I activated my emergency lights and I pulled in behind the Shirley truck unit. I observed a passenger vehicle that was directly behind the bus and in front of the Shirley unit. I observed that it had Wisconsin plates on the passenger vehicle, as did the bus. I walked up alongside the passenger side of the bus and observed what appeared to be a police officer wearing a black cowboy hat and standing beside the bus door. As I was approaching the bus, I observed quite a few children on the bus and approximately 4 to 6 adults in total between the bus occupants and the vehicle occupants behind the bus. All occupants were African American. Wait a minute. What? Why did he need to note that there? I wouldn't note something like that. The only time in a police report that I identified someone as being African American or Hispanic American or Caucasian or whatever would be is if I was identifying someone that we were saying that we were looking for, or for example, dispatch put out a call to be on the lookout for an African American. Yada, yada, yada. What appeared to be a police officer. How dare a black person be a cop? Yeah, right. So, this is, he didn't observe any human trafficking. Didn't Sproles say he doesn't scan other departments on the radio? Why would he have expected a Shirley officer to hear Henry County dispatch call for the abandoned car? That's a good question. A very good question. Absolutely. So, all occupants were African American. I walked up to the door. Now, amazingly, he doesn't say the cop was black. I'm so happy. I kind of thought maybe he would. All right. I walked up to the door of the bus and I asked one of the male occupants where the bus driver was and asked him what was going on. The male told me that they had put the wrong gas in the bus and the bus was broke down. And the driver had walked over to Love's truck stop to get parts to try to fix the bus. I asked him where they were coming from, and he said they had won first place in Ohio. Oh, no, sorry. Oops. I asked where they were coming from, and he said they were coming from a dance competition in Ohio. Several adults then began to cheer and pick up a trophy and say they had won first place in Ohio. So what Sproles is seeing is a bus full of African Americans who, mind you, if you watch the video, they're all basically wearing a uniform. It's not like they're wearing all individual clothes. They all have basic uniforms on that look very similar, specifically similar to what the bus looks like, because they painted the bus the same colors as their uniforms. It was a human trafficking. It was an African American human trafficking trophy. I want to know what that was. It was an all-black trophy with a bunch of kids in a box. Look, I'm not making fun of human trafficking. It does occur. I'm making fun of Sproles, who's an absolute idiot. All right? So he walks up and he says, "What's going on here?" And they're like, "Oh, we're on our way back from Ohio where we were at a dance competition." And they're like, "Hey, we got first place in the dance competition." All right? So that's one of the first things that probably should have calmed him down. And he's like, okay, well, this is a dance team. The male began telling me how they traveled all over the United States in this bus and that they had been to New York twice in this bus already. I asked the male if he could produce a vehicle registration for the bus. While he was retrieving the registration, I stepped back off the bus out of the doorway to encounter the officer for the first time. I mentioned to the officer a racist kind of asshole-ish statement. It didn't appear that this bus was roadworthy to travel all over the United States. What? Why? Why is that something he's saying? I mentioned to the officer that it did not appear that this bus was roadworthy to travel all over the United States. And the officer shot back to me something along the lines of, "Why would you say anything like that? The only problem we have here is they put wrong gas in the bus." I immediately realized the officer's spirit towards me was extremely tense. Immediately. Yeah, headlines. NOOBIE sheriff shoots unarmed inmate while in custody. NOOBIE sheriff offends everyone while dealing with an assist motorist. John Sproles is the only person that can answer a 1046, shoot himself in the foot, and get the department sued. You know, how do you get sued off a 1046, you idiot? I questioned the adults in the bus several times because when they told me that they were from Ohio and they looked like a dance team and they had a trophy, I didn't believe them. I thought maybe they were bowlers. I questioned the adults on the bus several more times and confirmed from them that they were all coming directly from dance competition in Ohio and that the bus driver is a male who was still over at Love's truck stop. I then went back to the passenger vehicle, and be clear, they were all African Americans too. I asked a female if she had been with the bus and with the dance team the whole time they had been gone, and she replied that she had been. She had said she had been following the bus in her car and that she was one of the leaders of the dance competition. I then asked where they were coming from, and she told me they were coming from stop. First off, I love my mother to death. I'm a mama's boy. I love my grandmother. Love all those people. But if you ask my mom or my grandmother where they were half the time, it can't even tell you they're in Muncie. All right? And my mom, to my knowledge, and my grandmother, to my knowledge, doesn't have any kind of brain damage, any kind of brain injuries. All right? Keep that in mind. All right? Keep that in mind. Tim Dalton, have you seen the video? Have you not seen the video yet? Okay. All right. Cool. He asked this woman, "Where are you coming from?" And she said, "We're coming from Michigan." Okay. Now listen to me. I don't know why she said that she was coming from Michigan. I have no clue why she said she was coming from Michigan. I have absolutely no clue why she said she was coming from Michigan. Maybe she was confused. Maybe she didn't know. You know what her job was to do? It was to follow the bus. She didn't need to know where she was going. She didn't need to know what she was doing. She was being told where they were going and what they were doing. Okay? She said she was coming from Michigan. She didn't know. It's whatever. My mom might very well do the same thing. Many reasons. You want me to tell you something else? Maybe she was nervous that she was being questioned by this white cop who seemed like he was aggressive from word go. Maybe they travel a lot and she was exhausted. Who knows? I then asked her if she was certain she had been with the team the entire time, and she said yes. I then asked her again where she was coming from. Right now, where were you coming from? And she said Michigan. I then told her the adults on the bus had given me a different state that they were coming from. And she said, "Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. We're coming from St. Louis." I then said, "No, that's not correct either." At this point, she said she had a brain injury and not to believe anything that she said because she doesn't know things like that. Another female in the vehicle said it is documented that she has a brain injury and she has no idea what she's talking about most of the time. Now listen, I'm not sure what the intent with that other female was, but if I was talking to an officer who had just asked my mother a question, if my mother and I happened to be in the middle of Muncie and an officer said, "Where are you at?" and she's like, "I don't know, we're up by McGalliard," I would be like, "Don't listen to her. She's da 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 da." You know, they're probably joking around. Like, I'm sure this woman has maybe had some kind of injury, but I'm sure the other woman was kind of joking. I'm sure she didn't truly mean, "Don't ask her. She has no idea what we're doing right now. She's not even sitting on the side of the road for all she knows." They were just talking. During these interactions, listen to this. I observed the Shirley police officer on the bus, most of the time interacting and talking to the people on the bus. He was watching me. I felt very uncomfortable with what he may be saying to the occupants on the bus because of his initial response to me and how he appeared to be keeping his eyes on me. Now, why? Why? Timing issues, no kidding. Man, timing issues. If you haven't watched these videos, dude, you need to go back and watch them. They're nuts. He's talking about another cop on the bus. Keep you in mind that this cop is on the bus talking to young kids, talking to children on the bus. And he feels uneasy with what they could be talking about. He appeared to stand far off from me while conversing with the adults on and off the bus during the entire encounter. One of the male adults came off the bus and began to follow me around, holding up a phone in front of my face, videoing everything that was going on. Now, I can tell you right now, I didn't see that on the body camera footage. I saw there was one adult male who picked up a phone and started videoing the interaction from about 10 feet away. And it must have bothered Sproles because Sproles looked at him and said, "That's okay. You can come over here and I'll tell you on camera something to that effect. I'll tell you anything you want to know." And the owner of the CEO of the dance crew told the guy to stop it and to get back on the bus. And the Roger said, "He's about to get on my last nerve." You know, Roger's like, "We don't need any trouble." You know, he just wanted to get this guy off his case, probably. So, I don't know what Sproles is talking about, following him around, holding the phone in his face, because that's not seen on the body camera at all. After a bit, I saw a male walking from Love's truck stop toward the bus, and I asked the adults on the bus, "Is this your bus driver coming in this direction?" And they said it was. When the male walked up to us, I asked him if he had been the bus driver, and he said no. I asked him again if he had been driving the bus and if he drove the bus to this location, and he said no. So I asked him who had driven it, and he pointed to the lady that was driving the car. I then said, "I assume you don't have a CDL driver's license," and she does. And he put his head down and he said, "You're correct." I then asked approximately how many people were riding on the bus, and they said 22 people. Most of them were children between the ages of approximately 8 and 14. Keep in mind, there's only 6 people. There were only 6 adults. 6 adults. 2 women in the car. Roger Winston was at the truck stop. So there's 3. So that means there were only 3 adults on the bus. So when he says up here that he was talking to that Humphreys was talking to all of the adults on the bus, there were 3 people that were on the bus that were adults, and the rest were children of the ages of 8 to 14. So he was literally afraid that he was conspiring with 8 to 14-year-old children. 8 years old to 14-year-old children, and this black cop was going. Ludicrous. All right. I then asked if all the parents of the children were aware of where they were and if they were okay with it. I advised him that I wanted to get their parents on the phone so I could speak with them and try to confirm that everything was okay. I did the best I could do to make contact with the parents. The parents said they were aware where all their children were. I'm not even able, I wasn't even sure if I was talking to the parents. There was no way to tell. Dude. Like ludicrous. He's still not certain if these kids have been trafficked or not. After doing my best to confirm that everything was legitimate as I could be, I was still very concerned and confused about all of the interactions and the feelings that I was getting from the Shirley officer on the scene. It appeared that he had some type of relationship with the bus occupants. Well, how would it have appeared that now? Because they looked alike? Because the occupants of the bus was all wearing cowboy hats? How could you even write a sentence like that? It appeared that the officer had some type of relationship with the bus occupants, and he was being very defensive with me. And quite frankly, I felt like he was trying to possibly entangle me in some type of racially tense situation. How about your own actions worked you into a racially tense situation there, Johnny boy? At this point, I was at least somewhat comfortable that we were not dealing with any type of human trafficking situation, which was my premier concern. Oh, your concern wasn't for the safety of the children, it was that they were being human trafficked. Especially with all of the trash that was thrown out into the roadway. In law enforcement, we train regularly for clues regarding human trafficking. One clue is obvious signs that someone is trying to get your attention. And throwing huge amounts of trash out of a broken down bus into State Road is a huge indicator of someone trying to get your attention, obviously, because littering is illegal. Oh, Aaron, he believes every bit of this. He does have some very serious issues. He believes every bit of this and worse, and he does have some very serious information issues. At this point, I was certain that there was some type of relationship between this Shirley officer and these occupants. I just knew it. Just by the very basic and simple assessment of all of his interactions with them and me while I was there. I then asked this officer if he would come back away from the scene to where my car was parked so I could ask him some questions. Who you, dude? You don't get to ask me some questions. This isn't your scene. This is you're the sheriff. I'm a police officer. My boss is the chief. I'll give you a little bit of due respect being here on this scene and being that it's, you know, quote unquote your county, but you don't mean nothing to me. Sproles wanted to ask this guy some questions. When we got back to the front of my car away from everyone involved, I noticed the officer continued to look down at his camera. He appeared to be trying to make sure it was on, so I told him that I knew his camera was on, and that was okay with me. To which he fired back at me. I have to have it on, don't I? Which we now know is either a lie or he disregarded his department policy. Then he started to get a little bit more intense, and he started saying something about me walking right by him when he was only trying to talk with me. This did not occur. He was standing at the bus door when I arrived. As I recall, the first interaction I had with him was when I stepped off the bus and said, "This bus does not look like it's roadworthy to travel all over the United States." Like, why does he keep saying that? He's like obsessed with getting that line out. He stated that I walked past, he stated that I walked past him like he didn't even exist. He then started firing away at me, talking about how he is not a rookie and he's been 19 years in law enforcement. And most of those years were spent as a federal officer, and that you're talking to me like I'm some kind of a kid, which was absolutely not the case. Please watch all of the video. Sproles, we have. I was simply trying to understand why all of this was going on, including him being out with this bus well into our county without ever notifying our dispatch that he was there. Right, 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 Yoko. I mean, you know, I can't, you can't make this shit up. Without ever notifying our dispatch that he was there. It also very obviously, it was also various, it also very obvious. It is also very obvious by the simply looking at the call logs that when I put out on the air for our sergeant to start units that way to check on the bus and all the trash, that he returned to the scene very quickly and apparently told them to pick it all up. And yet again, he did not tell our dispatch that he had been there, nor was he en route back to the bus. And he obviously did not notify our dispatch when he arrived back at the bus. It's because when he picks up the radio, he always radios into Hancock County. Even though Shirley is in both counties, they have both radios, it would get crazy confusing. So they have a situation where their police department, if their town is mostly in Hancock, all right, the county is split. Some of it is in Henry County, but most of it's in Hancock. So their deal is they get on the radio and they do all of their work through Hancock County. If Hancock County needs to relay something to Henry County, the dispatch does that. This is what was confusing to me, especially because he said he was just trying to help us out. It would have been great help to us, I explained to him, had he simply told our dispatch that he was taking care of the bus, which the sheriff said that. And Humphrey said, all right, I'm sorry. Next time I'll notify Henry County Dispatch. I'm sorry. Humphreys did admit I should have notified Henry County Dispatch. I can do that next time. But the sheriff just kept going and going and going. It would have been a great help had I explained to him if he simply would have let our dispatch know he was taking care of the bus. And while him and the other units were down in the area, it would have been nice if he would have went and checked on that abandoned vehicle on the state as well. And we would never even have had to come all the way out here. So it's kind of hard to buy the statement that he was simply trying to help us, but he never notified us of this in any manner. As I will speak about later, I told Chief Brian Pryor that I literally felt like he wanted us to come out there and somehow entangle us into some kind of unwelcomed racial situation after reviewing the body camera footage and knowing that he only turned his camera on while talking to me, yet turned it off while talking to the occupants. I really feel substantiated in my concerns. I will possibly substantiate it more later at the near the end of this email when I speak to a certain statement that was made right before the camera was able to be turned off. I had a state police investigator review the camera footage with me and my chief deputy, as the investigator has been very actively involved in some other serious issues we are having with reserve town marshals in our county, and he stated that he was completely shocked, and this officer only ran his camera while talking to me, yet would turn it off while talking to the occupants of the bus. Any officer would tell you that's completely opposite of what would typically be done. If you are allowed to turn your camera off, whether you want, if you're allowed to turn your camera, if you are allowed to turn your camera off whenever you want to, you generally would have done this when speaking with the officers and not the subjects. Also, I requested footage of the first time or any previous times that he had been out with the bus. And apparently he didn't have any video footage of those times at all. Very interesting to me that he only videoed when the sheriff and the deputies showed up. I am completely blown away that this officer actually left the bus that was partially in the roadway in a very high traffic area while in a very dangerous situation with the occupants on board. But to return to the scene and have people get out and get into the street to pick up trash is absolutely shocking to me. It is simply shocking. It appeared to me that he had done that to keep them from getting in trouble. To put people in danger like this simply is mind-boggling to me. I am sure you all have been down there watching all of these semis coming in and out of the truck stop and off the interstate. That's one of the most busiest and most dangerous places you could be, especially with a bus parked on the white line and people in the roadway. This is not true. Sproles left the bus there too, right? Did he not? He did. Yeah, Sproles wanted them all off the bus to ID them. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. All right. This type of thing is what I was really confused about during the whole encounter. I knew there was this type of thing going on, and I could not understand the situation. That is why I wanted to talk to him and try to clarify and understand what exactly was going on. But instead of getting any type of reasonable answer from him, he simply just turned into getting very short, snarky, and snapback comments and statements such as, "You didn't hear me mark in because I can hear you," having no understanding that he is scanning channels and we typically do not scan other counties' channels. And just simply want to throw little statements back at me like, "How would I know that 4 units are coming? And I know you're the sheriff, and I don't need a lecture from you." Actually, he had to be told that Sproles was the sheriff. He didn't know that he was the sheriff. He also seemed to take great issue, as did Chief Brian Pryor, with me saying that it appeared that he hustled back down there, when in fact it is simply factual basis that it only took him about 3 to 4 minutes to get down there from the time I asked my units if they would check on the situation with the bus. I'm not even sure you can get from Shirley to where we were in 4 minutes. In summary, in regard to Roger Humphreys, I have very serious concerns to his objectivity in police work. He obviously showed no objectivity whatsoever in ensuring the safety of all these children on the bus. He had not tried to substantiate any information such as who the people were, where they were going, where they came from, and he appeared not to consider the fact that the bus driver who actually owned the bus put the wrong type of fuel in it and he's in charge of the safety of all of these children on the bus, yet he's not in a proper state of mind to put the right fuel in his own bus, and that the only person who was technically allowed to drive the bus was a lady with a brain injury and a brain trauma who claims that no one should listen to her because she doesn't know where she's coming from or where she's going. Yet Officer Humphreys had done no objective investigative work to confirm anything in the day and age that we live in, with human trafficking being such a huge concern and such a horrific real thing. I'm just shocked that he did not make any attempt to make sure that these kids were safe. You have to ask yourself, what is the reasoning for this?
I'm sorry. Every time you bring up the lady with the brain injury, Travis is over here losing his mind laughing, because all he can say is, he's an idiot. Doesn't he realize that they are completely fucking with him?
Yeah, I mean, listen, and maybe she got hit on the head at some point or something. I don't know, but good Lord.
Or maybe she's like your mom and couldn't tell you where she was if her life depended on it. So she's just making stuff pulling shit out of her ass to make the dumbass go away.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's just dying every time.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Absolutely. That's right. And, it's like he's talking about these people appearing to be so stupid. Say she does have a brain injury. Is it because she's black? Or can white people get brain injuries? They put the wrong kind of diesel in the bus. Is that because they're black? He's like, I can make mistakes, but not these kind of mistakes. Then he tells them, he's like, well, I did this to my father's diesel truck. That's what he told them on the phone call last night. So
no, he didn't say he did it. He said his dad did it.
Oh, his dad. Yeah,
he would never make a mistake like that.
He would never make a mistake like this.
Yeah, it's just, I'm sorry. So
no, you're good.
I'm enjoying.
Yeah, it's
and Niles is getting a good chuckle out of it. So
I love it. All right, this is where we really start to get crazy here. The only one that seems to have the brain injury out of that situation. Oh God, it's Sproles. Here we go. This is where it gets crazy. I was just shocked that he did not make any attempt to make sure these kids were safe. You have to ask yourself, what would the reason be for this? In regard to Chief Brian Pryor, I reached out to Brian and advised him of the situation. Brian then called me while my chief deputy was with me and got very defensive and very worked up with me in regard to the situation. He was very upset, rightfully so. He was very upset because he felt like I was doing a background on his officer. I told him that I was not doing a background on his officer, but I simply was trying to confirm who this officer is and what he may be up to. What? Especially when realizing that he lied to me right off the bat on camera, telling me that he had to have his camera on while knowing full well that he was simply trying to turn it on, hopefully to catch me in some kind of wrongful statement or something. I told Brian that on Officer Humphrey's LinkedIn account, which Officer Humphrey had updated somewhat recently, he states that he was a lieutenant with the Marion County Veterans Hospital. This is where he talks about his federal law enforcement experience, I assume. I called the Veterans Hospital in Marion and talked to their chief of police about Humphreys. Now, why would Sheriff Sproles do that? What kind of rednecking bullcrap is he trying to pull here? Why is it any of his place to do this?
He pulled a Missy.
I know. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Yeah. This is crazy. This is really, really, really nuts. Okay. He goes on and he says he talked to the chief, and he advised me that he got rid of him several years ago. And if I was talking about some arrogant, smart mouth guy, then we're talking about the same person. I then called the only other police agency that he's listed on his resume. Why does, I mean, and they told me that they had let him go years ago over disciplinary issues. You know, there's many reasons why Humphreys may have been left or let go of another department, but the chief and the town board of Shirley felt that he was qualified enough to put on, and I don't think that that's Sproles' business. And for him to be calling all of these people after the fact is bizarre. Was he telling them why? I would like to get a hold of these places and find out if Sproles was conversing more than he was asking questions. Because if Sproles was telling them information, I think that's way out of line. I have been unable to have a reasonable conversation with Brian regard to this. Brian called me today in reference to the email I sent out, which I will forward to you in regard to some directives that I have recently put out regarding the town marshal agencies. While I was on the phone with Brian, I asked him why I had not heard back from him in reference to the statement that Mr. Humphreys made on camera when he said, "This is what I was trying to avoid." Brian then told me he had no idea what I was referring to. I told Brian that I had talked to him very clearly about this and told him I wanted an answer in writing on what his officer is talking about. Who is he? Why does he feel that he gets to tell this chief of police that you're going to give me an answer in writing about how another officer feels about something? He has no authority to do that. And I imagine Sproles said it just like that. Just like that. I'm sure he did. Brian got worked up over this and got very loud with me today on the phone and told me that you're not going to talk to me like I'm one of your subordinates. I'm not. He said, I don't have anything else to say to you, and he hung up on me. Yeah, it's interesting. It'd be interesting to know how much was actually said, how much Sproles was, making up or whatever. It'd be interesting to know what exactly
excuse he gave for the phone call.
Yeah, right.
Because when you're hiring somebody, you can call to confirm previous employment.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So what did he say to get them to, if they did say all this, to say all this?
Yeah, right. Right. Absolutely. That's yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. All right, moving forward. I respectfully now we get to what Sproles wants from the town board. All right. I respectfully request that you review all of the camera footage and consider carefully the mannerisms in which Mr. Humphreys, now he's no longer calling him officer. He's now calling him Mr. I respectfully request that you review all of the camera footage and consider carefully the mannerisms in which Mr. Humphreys speaks and responds. Also, the item that I referred to earlier in the email, in which I was talking about having that feeling that Mr. Humphreys was trying to catch me in something, pay close attention to the very end of one of those segments of the body camera videos. The man that had been holding the phone in my face, recording me the whole time, was walking back to the bus and stepping up into the bus while walking past Mr. Humphreys. The male sits down in the driver's seat of the bus and says, no, sorry. Mr. Humphreys, okay. The male had been holding the phone in my face, recording the whole time, was walking back to the bus and stepping up into the bus. While walking past Mr. Humphreys, you audibly hear Mr. Humphreys quietly say, "Did you get all of that?" The male then sits down in the driver's seat of the bus and says, "We deal with this shit every day in Wisconsin." Mr. Humphreys then quickly turns off his body camera. It's obviously that he appeared. It obviously appears that they had been having a conversation, possibly regarding racist cops. It would be, I would assume that that's why the male meant by this shit. There are two very important questions that I believe Mr. Humphreys needs to give to me and give clear answers to me about. What did he mean in the video segment where he said, "This is what I was trying to avoid"? What is his definition of this? And what did he mean when he said, "Did you get all of that"? What is his definition of that? I'm assuming they didn't get what they were hoping for. I was disgusted and sickened by the actions of Mr. Humphreys and extremely disappointed in the conversations I have had regarding this while talking to Brian Pryor. I will forward you the email that I sent out to the other town marshal agencies in our county that would would be happy for all of you to join us for the meeting this coming Thursday evening at 6 o'clock in the Henry County Sheriff's Office. So that's email number one. Sproles comes off like a complete idiot in that email, and I don't know what else. I don't know what else to do with that. All right. Before he sent that email out, he did send this short email out and just said, "Good afternoon. I just wanted to make sure this is the proper email address and that this email will be received and be read by all three of the town board members prior to tonight's meeting. I intend on emailing you a formal complaint in reference to Officer Roger Humphreys and Town Marshal Brian Pryor. If you could please respond and let me know that this is the correct email address to send it to, I would appreciate it." So, like, he really thinks that he has some reasons to, that they have reasons that they need to respond to him and just hop to anytime he asks for anything. It's completely insane to me that he would do that. Okay, then this is what he meant by this. Yes, ma'am, absolutely. That's what I said last night. This is what he was trying to avoid, Sproles, you ignorant asshole. Sproles asking for more money in the budget to paint Confederate flags on the sheriff's deputy cars. Absolutely. Any decent, I don't know, I hate saying that. I was going to say any decent law enforcement officer or corrections officer in Henry County needs to get out and go elsewhere. But I hate saying that because Henry County needs somebody, someone to step up and say, "No, this is not the right way. We have it from here," and set Sproles down. Henry County Coroner, get the sheriff under control. All right, Monday, July. Okay, so that was the 3rd of July. Sproles was big mad on the 3rd of July when nothing had happened. June 11th occurred. That was the incident. July 3rd, he wrote that monstrosity of an email. Then July 6th happens, and he picks up his gun, and he aims, and he fires away at an inmate in his jail, and it's just complete insanity. He does that. He's got me breathing down his throat. He's got Josh Kimbrell doing his stuff. We're out there. We're in Caddis. We're in the buildings. We're asking questions. We're sending emails. We're asking to see record requests. He's got the FBI investigating him, and literally he is up a creek without a paddle. All right. He might be smiling and looking good here. All right. But he's looking more like this by the end of the count, at the end of July. All right. July 6th happens, and all that craziness breaks out. I get the record request, and I send it out, and we put all of this information out on the 26th, the 27th, 28th. All of my documents and everything on this incident all aired the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. Okay. I interview, well, I'll say it like this. On the 28th, I released the body cam footage of the bus incident. And then I set up my interview with the CEO of the dance company for 9 p.m. on the 31st. All right. Listen to this. 9 a.m. on Monday the 31st. This is 12 hours before my interview with Roger Winston. And this is Sproles emailing the Shirley Town Council. Good evening or morning. I wanted to touch base with you in regard to the formal complaint I had emailed you, all regard to Reserve Officer Roger Humphreys. In my complaint, I had stated that it felt very clear that he was trying to race bait me into an interaction or conversation that he could possibly use to push that type of narrative. All right? So I've got a question for you, Sproles. This is a big question for you, buddy, and I know that you're listening to this. If you got to the scene and your Spidey-like senses kicked in and told you that these African Americans that all knew each other and they were conspiring to get you into some kind of race baiting, if you knew that, why did you do it? Like, all right, let's just play devil's advocate for a second, okay? Let's say Roger Humphreys and Winston and Roger Winston are brothers. Their mothers, instead of giving them same last names, she gave them the same first name. All right? Roger and Roger, come here. Let's say they're brothers and they're all related. And this is all their nieces and nephews and everybody. Because as Sproles knows, all black people are related. Let's say that this was one giant trap. We're going to park this bus down here. And we're going to just hope that Sproles is coming to it. Remember, he's off duty. He's off duty. All right? And he's in plain clothes. He's at church. It's on a Sunday. But maybe we'll get lucky and he'll come down. If that's what was going on and Sproles figured it out like the way he's letting on, then why
Niles has it figured out?
Yep.
He knows the reason.
Yep.
They lured him there.
Yep.
Because the bus isn't roadworthy to be traveling around the United States. So they set Sproles up
for a new bus
lawsuit to get a new bus.
Right.
My husband's brilliant, I tell you what.
I don't know how they got it there. They picked it up with a vehicle. They had it transported there. That's exactly right. So they set him up. Absolutely, Brandon. Absolutely, Brandon. I've been waiting to make that joke one way or another, but I'm glad you did. That's good. If he knew that's what they were doing, why did he do it? Why did he get there and he's like, I know what you guys are doing, so I'm just going to go ahead and act that way? You know, you figured he would have been on his best behavior. You figured he wouldn't have acted like a complete giant, asshole. All right, moving on. In my complaint, I stated that it felt very clear that he was trying to race bait me into an interaction or a conversation that could possibly be used to push that type of narrative. It was clear that he manipulated the body camera and only turned it on when talking to me, but turned it off while talking, while he interacted with the bus occupants, who were juveniles. Maybe that's why he turned the camera off. Even though he told me on camera that he had to have his camera on at all times, he was on the scene, Brian Pryor told me that per department policy, Officer Humphrey was not supposed to manipulate his camera in this manner. It was clear to me on scene why he was doing this, but now it's even more extremely clear that my suspicion was right. He's got a helmet. He's got a helmet. Let me show it to you. This is his helmet right here. He's got it on. He's the guy right here, the only person wearing a helmet. This is right after he shot the guy in the jail. He shot an unarmed man in the jail 4 times point blank. It's insane. With a helmet. Totally insanity. So it was clear to him on the scene, but it's extremely clear now. I'm not sure you all aware of this or not, but your Shirley PD body camera footage, Humphrey's body cam, is now being played all over the internet, pushing the narrative that I am a racist sheriff. I am quite disheartened at this, as especially I've reached out to your chief and clearly articulated my concerns with Officer Humphreys, and I immediately realized what he was up to on the scene. It's surprising that it has come full circle so quick, and he provided that I was completely right in my suspicion of Officer Humphreys' ill intent to engage in racial conversation. It was more surprising that Officer Humphreys used such bad judgment in not even getting any type of information from the bus driver, who was illegally driving the bus with many children on it with no commercial driver's license, or at least attempting to confirm with the parents that everything was okay. That situation had every warning sign you can have on it, and still I did all the crazy stuff. Had every warning sign you can have on it that would cause you to confirm these items in this day and age of human trafficking. Even though it did prove out not to be the case, there was no effort whatsoever by Officer Humphrey's action to ensure that. See initial formal complaint. I am simply touching base today and hopes that the town board president could give me a call to discuss the situation. My cell phone number is 765. Oh, I'm not going to read it all. Sorry. I'm about messed up there. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Okay. Now, what I want to know, and I'm getting ready to click and just find out here. Let me double check. I want to double check something. Give me one. Yes, Diane, that's exactly correct. $731. Okay. Kate, can you pull up here real quick?
Sure.
I'm going to have to check something real quick. Stand by, and I'll be right back. You just might, if you could entertain the people for just 1 second. I'll be right back.
No pressure. You have anything to throw in this conversation? No, my husband is being shy tonight. I do not understand this man. I love Yoko's comment here, though. It's delusional that Sproles seems to think that having more body cam footage will make him look less racist. I think that pretty well hits the nail on the head. No, I cannot do magic tricks. I'm sorry. Dance? No, you do not want to see that because I dance like a white girl. Yeah, no. Oh, sorry. I hate to spoil everybody's fun. Do I conjure? No, I don't, but I probably know some people that do. So if you know what I do for a living, I manage 5 haunted locations here in East Central Indiana. So I've met quite a few self-proclaimed witches and psychics and stuff. So yeah, so I probably do know people who conjure, but I do not myself. Oh, Lord. I have a feeling that the thing he needed to check on was whether his bowels were still working or not. Let's talk about Sproles' suggestion to raise taxes during the city council budget meeting. Now, I need Brandon on for that because he's the one that covered that so beautifully.
No, you know what?
What?
My thing was, this Sproles email was so long, I did not notice that I left one of them out in the car.
Oh,
so
okay.
We are good to go now. Sorry.
Okay, so Brenda, yes, you can get a tour, and if you look up Randolph County Asylum on the Google thing, then you can find the phone number and you can call in, and we would love to have you come set up a tour. And yes, I do conjure cookies, but I can't make them magically appear in the few minutes it takes him to go take a shit. So.
Okay. Here we go.
You're good to go now?
Yeah, we're good.
I can go away again?
No, yep, we're good.
Right.
Bye. Okay. So that then brings us now to the 31st, when Roger Winston comes on the show, and we have the interview with Roger Winston. And it was a great interview, fantastic interview. On Wednesday, August 2nd, at 7:25 p.m., Sproles does the following. He emails the town council the following. I wanted to officially add these photos of just a few examples of the messages and emails that I am now constantly receiving due to the actions of your officer, Mr. Humphreys. I add these items to simply substantiate my initial complaint that I felt as if I was being set up by Officer Humphreys for this exact situation. Had Officer Humphreys abided by your department's policy of having his body camera on at all times, as he stated on his own video that he was supposed to do, I doubt we would be having this conversation. Why? Because if his body camera was on at all times, you wouldn't been acting like a racist asshole? What is this? This man is seriously nuts. Nutso. And I say that as a political commentator, not as a doctor, and that's just my personal opinion of watching and listening and interacting with this bizarre county official. This was very clearly a premeditated setup, and it is playing out exactly as I anticipated it would from my very first interaction with him on that scene. I am shocked that Officer Humphreys is still entrusted by the town of Shirley to uphold the laws of Indiana and the Constitution of the United States, when he cannot even be entrusted to uphold the simple department policy while blatantly lying on camera and stating that he has to have his camera on when I called him out because he kept looking down to see if he actually got it turned on or not from knowing it was turned off. I am sickened at this hate mail and messages that I am having to deal with, being accused of being a racist sheriff simply because your officer failed to do his job in seeing that the occupants of the bus were kept safe. As I said in my original complaint, I feel that he was wanting us to be called to the scene so he could do exactly what he is doing. Any reasonable officer would have never left a bus with over 20 occupants on it sitting on the fog line on a major highway thoroughfare without keeping emergency lights on behind it until the bus and occupants were safely hauled away, unless you had other plans and was just waiting for it all to play out. And why did he come back to the scene when he heard us en route to it? Did he think that myself and 4 other officers that were on the way would need some kind of assistance? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Every part of this situation is absolutely sick and disgusting, and to think that he still holds police powers at your discretion is beyond belief to me. Mr. Humphreys appears to have some serious integrity issues that would probably explain why he was either fired or forced to resign from the only 2 police departments that he lists in his LinkedIn profile. I would dare say there are probably more encounters like this along the way that he does not make mention of. I am bewildered by all of this. The fog line! RTFL, remember the fog line. Oh, Tim Dalton. Oh, good Lord. Son, I don't like being called out for being a racism. I blame your black officer. Look what the blacks have done to me. They've made me hate them. Damn you, black cops. Black people. You stupid black people, you made me hate you. Okay, he's so dumb, man. Someone's going to chop that up into a bit with the bit the other night, and I'm going to be screwed. So here's the deal. Sproles is a bizarre, weird person, and just bizarre and weird and dangerous. Dangerous too. Bizarre, weird, and dangerous. It's sad. It's sick. It's disgusting. It's phenomenal how sick he is. Tim Dalton, great suggestion, Jenna. Great follow up there. I will do you guys a favor right now. Matter of fact, right now, I'll stop it right now. I'm going to reach out to him right now. And I'm going to say, is it possible to get you on for an interview? Now, it is quite possible that he might not be able to because he is in legal action. Or should be. So let me try to see if I can send a message to him just right like this. Wondering if it might be. All right. I sent it. I sent it to him. I just said, hey, hope you're doing well. I need to talk to you anyways. Please give me a call tomorrow. But no matter what, or at your convenience, but no matter what happens, I do need to talk to you about the possibility of us sitting down for an interview. I know that you will possibly have to talk to either legal counsel or I would like you to talk to an attorney, period, before doing it. But we do need to have a talk. I understand that your boss would be involved in all that stuff. So we will see what happens. If I can get him, I will do everything I can. And, you know, even if we got to be careful about what we say, I would like to, woo, in the voice of Sproles. Only we're not shooting unarmed people. I would like to talk with him one way or another. So we'll see what we can do. That's a great thought. Also, I would like to talk to Sproles. I'm going to ask Sproles if he'd like to come on and do an interview. Sproles has been on my program a couple times. Sproles has been on here a couple times. And he's been on here a couple times when we've been combative. Hold on here. I want to read some messages to you. See if I can do a static interview. That way, if he does or says something he shouldn't, you can, yeah, that could very well be. That could very well be good. Let me see here real quick. Sproles. What? Well, apparently. Oh, it's because he's blocked me. Well, damn. Never mind. Oh, hey, look. How do we pronounce that? Is it G-I-A? Oh, my God. Did Gia just pull the I've got a black friend card? Hold on. Let me ask my black spouse. I mean, maybe that might be something. I don't know. If you got a black spouse, cool. But, like, whatever. Do you want to come on, Gia? I would love for you to come on. You could if Sproles comes on here, he has to wear the helmet. Hey Gia, tell Sproles that I want to interview him, but he has to wear the helmet. So tell me, Gia. Gia, am I pronouncing that right? Gia? Is that a... Never mind. I would love for you to come on. You could come on and we could debate this. That would be quite entertainment. My question is, okay, so you agree with Sproles. Read what Joey write. He obviously thinks I'm a Sproles fan. I don't know. Are you a Sproles fan? Where is Gia at to tell us those black people should listen to Sheriff Massa? Yeah, right. So my question is, maybe you're not a Sproles fan. Why don't you come on and talk to us about it? I'm interested in your thoughts. So we understand that you agree with Sproles that it's okay to shoot that guy with 4 beanbags. So I'm cool with that. We don't even have to argue that out anymore. But what about this bus incident? Was Sproles right with the bus incident? You think Sproles was right with the bus incident? Or do you think he was wrong? Do you think it was all a setup? You think Roger Humphreys and his family from Milwaukee planning on setting Sprolesy up? Listen, right, wrong, or indifferent, I do appreciate that you're here and that you speak up, even if you don't look, even if you don't watch, even if you don't comment a lot, even if you don't agree with what we're saying here. I do give you the props for speaking up and saying your piece. I may not agree with you, but you're always welcomed here, and you can speak out and disagree with me every time. I'm perfectly fine with that, but I'm definitely cool with that. So Gia is a person who's on YouTube, and if anyone who's watching on Facebook, you can't see all of the comments because YouTube people can't see Facebook, and Facebook can't see YouTube. No, I have my own opinion. I make my own decisions, and I call things how I see it. See them just like everyone else on here who has... Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you having your own opinion. I have no problem with that. I appreciate that, and you are always able to say it. Now, listen, you're on a YouTube political commentary show, so I don't think you're being attacked for having an opinion. This is a very interactive show, which means your comments are wanted. We do not block, delete comments, so you are free to be yourself. If watching live, please comment in the live section. If you read my comments above, I stated instead of him writing that letter, he should have wrote an apology letter and stating he made a mistake. Okay, that's awesome. See, I listen, hosting the show, it's kind of hard to see all of the things. So I very greatly appreciate your comment there. I definitely understand that. And look, it's absolutely possible to say, hey, I think what he did in the jail situation was okay, and I think what he did in this situation was completely wrong. Or I think what he did in the jail situation was wrong, and what he did here was okay. It's perfectly okay to say, I think what he did in both situations was wrong. Or there's people out there that want to agree with both situations. I get it takes all kinds to make the world go round. You gotta be kidding. Ugh. Sorry. I don't think it's Connie. No, I don't think it's Connie. Oh, shit. Connie. Connie wouldn't have just said that they thought that Sproles did wrong on the bus incidents. Connie will never say Sproles did wrong on anything. Okay, see here? Yeah. So, we've got some people who must know who Gia is. Yeah. Well, maybe Mary, maybe she has a black husband. What do you mean? Maybe she was being facetious about, like, I'll find out if I can speak. Let me ask my husband. And maybe the husband's black. I don't know. Seems like we have some people here. I don't know. I don't personally care if he's black or white or red all over. But just commenting to the comment. So yeah, there are the emails. Again, this is just more. Listen, I've got to get this out. I was going to make a short today that said, whatever you do, Sproles, don't do anything stupid for the next 72 hours. I need to get a couple things done, and I need you to stop having me drop everything to do stuff. I need to get some Muncie stuff going. I need to connect with candidates for interviews. So I'm putting this out right here. Please, for the love of God, while attempting to cover your ass, try not to be racist the next couple days, Sproles. Try not to shoot anybody, please. Try not to do any kind of crazy bullshit over the next few days so I can get some other work done. And I know that the people here loves the Sproles content, and we're going to bring it to you, and I got to bring it when it's there. But I mean, I got to get some Muncie stuff out. I got to get some candidate interviews popping, and we got to get some things going here, but I shouldn't have even been here tonight, because now I won't be off tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have on a bunch of people coming on, I believe, because I think I got the confirmation today that said they are going to be coming on, and we're going to be talking about all of the craziness in Madison County. We're going to be talking about some corruption. We're going to be talking about how all the lines intersect, and we're going to be talking about where the problems are there. We're going to be talking about, you want to talk about serious corruption, don't say, oh, that's just boring. Listen, we got a politician who was in office committing child molestation and rape on a child under the age of 15, who is currently formally charged with 15 felonies and is on the run somewhere in the United States. Was given a $5,000 bond for these 15 felonies. Just absolutely asinine. He's on the run. The allegations are that he has been getting help from people also still in the government in Madison County. So we're going to be talking about all of that tomorrow. And then Sunday we'll be back to our regular programming at 9 o'clock on Sunday through Thursday. Do I think Sproles would let Dan wear the helmet? Oh, no, I don't think so. Sproles is kind of egotistical. I think Sproles would say, Dan, you get your own helmet. And I think Dan would probably just have to buy his own helmet. Now, I think Sloan would let Dan wear the helmet. Sloan would let him wear his helmet. I'm sure there's, maybe he's already done it. I don't know. But I just don't think that Sproles is letting anybody else get their big head inside his head holder. Okay. Fair enough. Are we saying Gia? Is that right? Gaia? Jaya? Gia? Gia? Those are tricky names. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're going to pretty much wrap the shows up. Hey, it's not Sproles' fault. He is doing dumb shit. It's everyone else's fault. And and he will spend all of the time in the world trying to convince everyone of that. So I completely understand. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, no, you're good. You're good, Joey. I think we can all learn to love each other here, or hate each other and still just be able to agree. Either one's fine with me. I was seriously confused for a minute. No shade. Confused. Hey, listen, man. Sproles has everybody just on edge. We don't understand what's happening here. Yeah, Gia, whatever, how you say it. You are welcome here anytime. I hope you subscribe. Hope you check it out. Love to fight with you some more. Love to agree with you some more. It's wonderful. Have fantastic GoFundMe for Josh for eye surgery. Josh Smith for eye surgery after the numerous eye rolls he does all day long. I thought you were getting ready to say something serious there, and I was like going to read it off and be like, yeah, share it. And then I saw that. That's hilarious. I was like, I just saw him. Nothing's wrong with him. That's hilarious, Lisa Lewis. Yeah, no kidding. So listen, 9 p.m. tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about massive corruption, including seriously bad shit in Madison County. Going to want to hear how we're combating it, what we're going to do to combat it. And we're going to have like a panel on, I guess. It'll be interesting. Hopefully Brandon Rudd might appear. I don't know. He's been hiding. I think he's getting ready to go on some like vacay. And when he gets back, we're going to have him on for like 30 days in a row straight. He's like, I have a birthday, and he's like, I need a birthday that lasts a month. I go on vacation for 8 days, and he's like, can I take 2 months? I'm like, yeah, whatever. So it is what it is. I love our officers. I support them 110%. Sproles is wrong in many ways. The offender is wrong for breaking the law, destroying property. I hate that those kids went through what they did. That's fair. That's fair. The postscript today is something that people need to hear, folks. Politics is not for the faint of heart. And I will leave you with that. All right, folks, you have a wonderful rest of your night. Have a great Saturday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hey, bring a friend, and hit the like button on the way out, damn it, you like button freeloaders. Good night. Thank you, Mark Nicholson. Well, good chatting with you earlier, sir. Thank you for Days for being here. Thank you, Tim. Later.